Friday evening right here, we broke the news that the Hyde School and the family that founded it are being sued for allegedly abusing and neglecting students. A Massachusetts law firm, the Justice Law Collaborative, and the Maine-based Island Justice Law filed the claim on behalf of the lead plaintiff, Jessica Fuller, and all other former students who have had the same experiences she is claiming. So on Friday, you heard briefly from some of those students, but as News Center Maine's Pearl Small now shares, they have a lot more to say.
Sitting in the heart of Bath's bustling community is the Hyde School. Since 1966, it's been building a legacy here and at two other campuses in Woodstock, Connecticut and Eustis, Maine.
You know, it looks beautiful from here.
The school markets itself as having a transformational educational approach. Develop character to discover unique potential, its mission statement reads. But a federal lawsuit filed on Friday accuses that marketing of being deceptive, concealing and manipulating abuse and forced labor hundreds of students were required to endure.
It's so nice in the front, really shows what they're like. They are so good to people's faces, but once you get to the back, that's where everything starts to show. Yeah, I feel...
It's October of 2024. For Jessica Fuller, who is the lead plaintiff in the lawsuit, it was her first time being back at the Hyde School's campus since she was a student. Jessica was 17, but had been struggling with depression and suicidal ideation since she was 12.
Then I was sexually assaulted on my way to sixth grade camp, so it just kind of led me into a spiral.
Jessica's parents sent her to Hyde's summer program in 2014, then enrolled her as a full-time student during the school year.
And they just didn't know how to help me. So they turned to the professionals like Hyde, looking for answers and reasoning, and Hyde sold them a dream.
For her, that dream quickly became a nightmare.
They are screaming at you, they're yelling at you, they're in your face.
Most mornings, that's how Jessica says she was woken up. She says she was placed on the school's work crew, where she was forbidden from speaking to other students, forced to exercise excessively, and perform physical labor around the campus for hours at a time, while her access to food and water was restricted.
I was getting exhausted and lightheaded, and they just would not let me stop.
The lawsuit defines work crew as Hyde's forced labor punishment system. If students didn't comply, Fuller says they'd be tormented by staff.
I've also seen them hold down other students. I've seen them, push another student before.
Over the course of a year, we've heard from 20 former students who claim to have had the same experiences. Through one of the law firms that filed the case, we've received statements from 17 of them, and personally sat down with 3.
I lost all sense of individualism at Hyde, so my self-esteem was built off others and how they viewed me.
It's November of 2024, and Angie, who has asked to keep her last name private, is sharing a journal entry she wrote after years of therapy.
As I got older, I continued to carry this practice with me. My self-esteem depended on outer things and how people received it. Unlearning this is an everlasting journey.
Angie attended Hyde's Connecticut campus for 3 years, starting in November of 2011 when she was 15. The lawsuit claims Hyde promised families a life-changing education, which Angie says excited her. She'd been struggling in school, but had dreams of furthering her education and attending college. The lawsuit later states that many of Hyde's promises weren't true, which Angie says she soon came to find out.
And that started, a 3-year period of, back and forth out doing manual labor.
Angie says she barely spent any time in classes and instead was subject to physical and emotional abuse.
I literally have a quote here that was told to me, "Don't you get it? No one loves you. That's why you're here, because you're nothing and nobody wants you, so they sent you away."
The lawsuit claims emotional manipulation was a common practice at Hyde and that it was used to force students to comply with staff's demands.
So when you decide to do it, your friends stop suffering.
Rachel Dedman says they would threaten to punish her classmates, even if she feared for her own safety.
I think it was push-ups or a plank or something, and I started to have an asthma attack, like actively having an asthma attack while I'm doing it. So I'm starting to stop to try and catch my breath and breathe. And I remember someone pushing their foot on my back, pushing me down, and I have to continue.
Rachel attended Hyde's Connecticut campus for 3 years, starting in 2005. She says she also spent time at the Eustis campus, where the lawsuit states students were forced to undergo labor punishments in the wilderness, like sleeping outside for days on end in the middle of winter without adequate clothes.
You know, what can we come up with today that will fill all these hours, but also drill into these kids that, you know, we're here and we can do kind of whatever we want to punish you.
Rachel is sharing her story over Zoom from New York, where she lives and works for the New York State Office of Mental Health, hoping to provide the kind of care she wishes she'd received at school.
But you've never seen like them be subjected to a physical labor type program?
Nothing like these programs do, absolutely not.
Before and since the lawsuit was filed, the Hyde School has vigorously defended itself and denied the claims to us and to the public. In a letter that went out to the Hyde School community, the chair of the Board of Governors writes, "We want our community to know that Hyde vehemently denies these claims and intends to vigorously defend itself, its reputation, and the character education model that makes Hyde the special and effective school it is." But if that model is what led to the experience of Rachel, Angie, Jessica, and what the lawsuit claims is hundreds of other former students, many believe it needs to change.
You know, a lot of people would not come back here, but I like to take things head on now.
Jessica is far away from the new life she built for herself in Ohio, where she is a mother of 4, a wife, and co-owner of a successful business.
I still get like, oh my gosh, is this really my life? Am I really doing this? I get imposter syndrome, best to say, but I am in a happy place. I'm in a very good place.
You know, I'm in recovery now.
And Angie, who has spent more than a decade battling sobriety, is finally celebrating that college degree she always wanted. But despite each of their individual success stories, they are still haunted.
I felt like I would never be able to heal because the school is still open, hurting kids. And, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow.
In recent years, abuse allegations at various kinds of boarding schools have surfaced across the country. In several states, the claims have inspired legislative change. Rachel, Angie, and Jessica are hoping this lawsuit has the same effect in Maine.
I always say to that, it's not the trauma Olympics, and it doesn't matter if that one took it to a worse level and that one just barely scraped the surface.
While the lawsuit claims hundreds have had this experience, the exact number of defendants won't be known if and until the case is granted class action status. But Rachel, Angie, and Jessica, through connections they've made with other former students over the years, are confident it's not just their voices that have been silenced.
You know, I felt like I was alone for the longest. Like, it wasn't, like, no one went through this. It was just me. There was like a whole community of survivors who were like, where have you been? We've been waiting for you.
For these 3 women, and potentially many more, it feels like that wait to be heard is finally over.
That was our Pearl Small reporting. Late today, News Center Maine got an email from an attorney whose firm has been representing Hyde School for decades. Martha Gaithwaite says court rules prohibit her from commenting on the lawsuit, and that with a trial still years away, she hopes any potential jurors will keep an open mind and not rush to judgment. We are posting that complete statement as well as the lawsuit itself as part of a full article on newscentermaine.com.